I don't know who's having load shedding and who's not, but I hope you guys are fine, and I hope things are going okay with you guys out there. I know South Africa is going through a tough time. In fact, the whole world is going through a tough time at the moment. But we need to hang in there. We need to make sure that we do the best that we can all the time. Guys, just a quick one. Let's get back to this wonderful opportunity that we are sharing together. Firstly, I want to make sure that everybody is online and that everybody is logging in. I'm going to just give a little bit of a background and talk about what happened during the month while we wait for some of the people to come in. So it's been a fantastic month for me, thank God. I hope it's been that way for you guys. I know that I've received so many applications. Wow, it's amazing. The talent out there is fantastic. You guys are just something else. And what I'm seeing all the time is I'm getting great response from younger people. I did have a couple of applications from some old people too. Oldies 48 plus. I'm characterized as old now. So I did have a couple of great ones. I've been through a lot of these applications. I had a team of people work with me and go through these applications very carefully. I did identify 3 that I really did enjoy and I liked. But before I even get onto that, I made sure I kept all my promises. I made sure I got a hold of the Porsche. I know not everybody's interested in that, and I know that's not the reason that you're here. I know that you're here because we want to share and we want to learn from each other, and I want to pass on a little bit of knowledge to the extent that it's to the extent that you can use it. I want to be in a position where I can share some of the good with you and some of the bad. A lot of the times, I'm told we need to wait 5 minutes. We need to wait 5 minutes. Sorry, guys. They're showing me these big flashcards that says, please wait 5 minutes. So I don't. We're admitting people. All right. I know it's tough out there with the electricity issues. I chose this time because I wanted everybody to be able to get online. You at home. Hopefully the kids are off to bed. I just put my guys to bed now. My little one's a little ill, so I understand how things operate. So I'm going to give the other guys a bit of an opportunity to log on. In the meantime, what I'm going to do, so that we don't waste any of our time, is maybe I should start off by talking about this wonderful individual that I've identified. The individual I've identified is a unique individual, like every one of you out there. I'm told again I should hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me make small chat with you guys in the meantime. So while we're waiting, let me talk about the fact that this month I saw a massive increase and decrease in the currencies. I've seen a lot of my employees asking for more money. I've seen a lot of people cash strapped. I've seen a lot of people run out of money just before month end. I've seen a lot of people under pressure with cash flow. In our businesses and in the business that I'm running at the moment, I only really look at cash flow, to be very honest with you. I never particularly like looking at balance sheet and that sort of thing, and income statement. Obviously, it's important to make sure we reduce the costs and keep costs lower. But I'm always looking at cash flow because, as I mentioned in the previous webinar, if your cash flow is not right, your business can't exist. If your cash flow is poor, you're in a difficult situation because you can't get through the hard days. So you're in a position then to see through your dreams. You're in a position then to be able to achieve your goals. So please be watching your cash flow. We talked about so many other things last month. We talked about how to generate a little bit of money in your home environment. One of the people that came across this month was an amazing idea where you have got a little box, about 20 kilograms being manufactured, where you can utilize this box to start your own subsistence vegetable farming at home. Not farming, but let's say vegetable patch, so that you could utilize it for reducing cash flow, spending money. And also you could sell some of this, like we discussed last time. But I want to get to the one or two of the other applications that I did see. Let's speak louder, she says. Okay, fantastic. Sorry about that. Okay, we got a whole 2 hours together. Geez, I better get comfortable in this chair now. So I seen a couple of applications, and what I was seeing, guys, I was seeing everybody saying, how do I enter and what do I need to do? So before we actually get into the winner for this month, I want to talk about what do we actually need to do this month and how we need to arrange and look at those elements of what you need to give me and the team so that we can assess it. So the first important thing is your idea. And I think let's start off without complicating things, and I want to make it easy for you. So ask the team to make a template. Not a template, let's call it a to-do list. And I'm going to put the to-do list up in the next couple of days before the month end, I hope, so that we can be in a position of you can have a little bit of a tick box situation where you can say, look, I got my idea, this is my idea, I need to formalize my idea in a one-pager, tick. Thereafter, I need to reduce it to some sort of cash flow or understand the cash flow. First of all, the capital required in being able to get this particular initiative off the ground. Then I need to know how many months I'm not going to be making money for. Then I'm going to need to know how much cash flow I need and some reserves that I need. And I also need to understand how long it will take for your business to become a cash generative operation. So there's a lot that I am asking for. I understand it becomes quite difficult when you have just an idea. You don't have many people to help you. You don't have an accountant. You don't have an attorney. But don't worry about it. We're going to learn together along the way. And I'm going to show you by example how we're actually going to do it in the next 2 hours and how we're going to create an idea and how we're going to take that idea and monetize it. So I have a real case from last month. It came down to 3 people. Eventually, I really was convinced on this one particular initiative, and I'm going to talk about it now. And I'm going to talk to you about a wonderful man, and his name is Dr. Larry Peter Van Vuuren. This is an unbelievable human being that I met. The team were really thrown back by him. The interaction that we had with him was phenomenal. And today, I'm glad to say that we closed out a transaction with him, and we've allowed him the opportunity to invest in his project, and we've also allowed him the opportunity of realizing his dreams. So I want to tell you a little bit about Larry Peter Van Vuuren, and then I'm going to tell you how he came about his idea. It's actually quite a novel story. It's just actually beautiful. I wrote it up here, so I'm just going to read it to you if you don't mind. He's a 44-year-old gentleman. He has significant vision impairment. Despite his disability, Dr. Van Vuuren became a PhD in bioinformatics. Dr. Van Vuuren's journey began obviously with a dream. And as he went through the process of acquiring his PhD, unfortunately, no one really believed in Dr. Van Vuuren. No one gave the opportunity to him actually to even want to allow him to become a PhD. The people at the university he was involved in, unfortunately, you stole this one now. The people in the university where he was attending, and I don't want to mention the university's names, etc., but where they were involved in, they found themselves in a position where they didn't believe in Dr. Van Vuuren. His impairment put him in a position where everything became more and more difficult for him. The principle of studying was a massive issue for him, obviously with the impairment. But he created something unique, and I'm going to tell you about it. He created and developed the first test for breast cancer that is a unique test that's instantaneous. So we're busy going through the process of understanding that more carefully, and we took a day to be able to fully understand it, and then more work went into it, etc. And what's important about this, it's non-invasive. You use it as though you would use a home pregnancy test, and it gives you the ability, obviously, to understand whether you have breast cancer stage 1, 2, 3, etc. Now, for women, this can become quite expensive, obviously. And when you're in that position, you find yourself having to go to specific x-rays and doctors and blood tests, etc. This is quite inexpensive. It will be able to be bought from a pharmacy or from a Clicks or Discam, etc. And will be able to be bought online, etc. in the future. But his whole idea, he's a 44-year-old man that's had this dream of being able to achieve this and build something unique, and he has. Many women are using pregnancy tests out there, and it's quite convenient other than going and getting a test in a laboratory, etc. And now we're in a position where we can do the same to understand those particular aspects around cancer. Nobody really likes that disease. In fact, nobody likes any disease. However, that is something quite important for us to be conscious of, this breast cancer issue, because it's on the up and rise. A lot more people are getting it. I don't really know why. I'm not a doctor. But I do know that it gives you peace of mind, thank God, when you use it and you're able to immediately know whether you're at risk or not. But I have Dr. Larry Peter Van Vuuren with me tonight, and I want him to go through explaining his journey with you I'm going to invite him to come and sit next to me, and we're going to go through that with you. It's so important for you to understand his journey, and there's no better person to tell you than Larry himself. So Larry's with me at the moment, and he's going to take you through his journey, and I hope all of you will realize how difficult his journey has been. Remember, he never allowed this vision impairment to determine how he will live his dream. And for a number of years, he just hung in there. He became unemployed. He's currently just doing his research and development, and we're assisting him now to do it. As you will obviously understand, it's technical, so we've got a lot of more doctors and professors involved to make sure that we get these things under control in terms of being able to monitorize it and put it into production and get the required authorizations from government and from the healthcare, etc. But I'm going to switch over now for a few minutes to Dr. Larry Peter. I'm just going to talk with him, and we're going to get to interact with him and let him explain his journey. Dr. Larry, I'm going to move across a little bit. Okay. Can I move you closer to me, yeah, Dr. Larry? Sure. Come on, let me help you up here. Okay. Yeah? Oh, we good. So this is Dr. Larry van Vuuren. Larry, I know you're a bit shy, but I need you to be very calm. Yes. And I need you to just take the listeners, if you can speak a bit louder, if you don't mind, when you answer, and give them your journey. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, Doc.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. As a means of introduction, I am Dr. Larry van Vuuren. I'm Port Elizabeth.
Sorry, Doc, can you speak up a little bit? Maybe move a bit closer. Let me get out the way here.
Okay.
My chair doesn't want to leave me. My goodness. All right. Maybe this way, Doc, you can face that way to the public.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. As a means of introduction, I am Dr. Larry van Vuuren. I'm a Port Elizabeth native. I am a biological scientist by profession with qualifications in biotechnology, biochemistry, and bioinformatics. I've been awarded multiple academic scholarships for both undergraduate and postgraduate studies, where I pursued full-time studies in the natural sciences whilst overcoming serious challenges with eyesight. So I am totally blind in my right eye, with low vision in the left, and it has been this way since birth.
Wow. Larry, let me rather ask you some questions, because everyone's probably trying to understand how long it took you to develop this entire technology, and what were your ups and downs, and when did you think that you're not going to make it?
The research aspect of it all took about 2 years straight, right? And ever since then, when I discovered a stage-specific breast cancer urinary biomarker, I immediately said to myself, well, the next step is most probably to get a business plan. Yes. And once I had that in place, everything just went downhill from there.
Doc,
and started picking up when
explain to the youth, how did you go about this business plan? I mean, obviously you're a doctor, you're a PhD, you're a little bit more educated than me, but how did you start this whole journey?
I approached CEDA for assistance with a business plan.
Oh, wow. And how did that go?
It took me roughly them about 6 months to a year.
All right.
Before the document.
And you got all the assistants, the accountants, the lawyers, all of that sort of stuff.
Yes, yes.
Just to let you guys know, while I'm at it, is that Doc is in the process of copyright and patenting this technology. Is that right, Doc?
That's correct, yes.
Oh, fantastic. And Doc, have you approached any entrepreneurs or any banks or institutions for money along the way?
I've only approached the Department of Trade and Industry.
And how did that go?
Well, they are basically taking forever and a day to get back to me, and that is why I approached the Moti Group.
Wow, Doc, you know, when you say they're taking forever, it makes my heart very sore, because there's hundreds and hundreds of people out there that feel the same way. The time that they take to process these wonderful ideas take too long, you know.
Yes.
And did you find that you got the right advice along the way?
Absolutely, without a doubt, absolutely.
Okay. And how did your education start out, Doc? You were telling me about And actually, I was reading about the fact that they didn't want to admit you to do a PhD.
No, this was back during my days as an undergraduate student.
Yeah.
I was a second year BSc biotech student,
Yeah.
and I was advised by departmental staff that I should deregister the course because of my visual impairment.
Wow.
I should rather pick up something in mathematics or statistics. But I didn't see myself doing a degree in mathematics or statistics because I'm passionate about the biological sciences instead.
Yes.
And I ended up doing so, and then being very, very unhappy.
Yes.
Was on the verge of quitting and deregistering myself from the institution.
Yes.
But then I stumbled across an article which has an amazing story about Dr. Timothy Cords. He is totally blind and he is a medical doctor.
Oh, wow.
So with that article in my hand, I actually went back to the biotechnology department.
He said, I'm better off than this. I could
Yes.
make it if this doctor made it.
If he could
Fantastic.
do it, so could I. And on that basis, I was then given permission to re-register for.
So basically, it was your
biotechnology.
drive that continued keeping you guys. Listen
That's
up.
correct, yes.
This is so important for you to take in. There were so many opportunities that the doc had to quit, but he didn't because he remained in place. He understood the struggle. He understood that he needed to make the right choices and commitments around these issues. And here he is today. When did you get your PhD, Doc?
My PhD I completed it in 2016 and it was awarded to me on the 29th of August 2017.
Wow. And Doc, I understand today you closed your deal out with our MotiMoves program.
That's correct. I'm
And,
super excited about that.
No, I'm happy. It's good to see you got nice teeth. You're smiling. I'm happy to see that. But just to let you guys know, so we're given a 3 million rand commitment against the 30 million rand that we put into this particular initiative. Initially, it's 250,000 rand. Rand, I didn't say rand, I said rand. 250,000 rand, and then he has an opportunity once he achieves targets so that he can put this thing into production, provided it gets all the required approvals from the medical and governmental institutions so that we can make life easy. Please tell us about the product that we're busy building, Doc, just in very brief.
Okay, so the innovation basically comprises to create and market a rapid diagnostic urine test for early detection of breast cancer in females.
Yes.
Now we know that males are not immune to breast cancer, but if you have a look at the incidence and prevalence rates, it's not as elevated as in female subjects, and that is why the study was more geared towards females. And
Yes.
the other reason is that in males, the breast is rather rudimentary, but in females, it's actually part of their persona.
Oh, yes.
You know, so
Anyway. Doc, I'm pushing my chest out now so I don't look like I got breasts, but fine. I'm glad. Okay, so how long does it take? How long does it take to test yourself?
On average, the results would be made available immediately because it is a rapid test.
Okay, so in a minute, 2 minutes.
In a minute, basically.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Similar
So
to
that's
a home pregnancy test.
And the
where
cost would
the
be
waiting
just-
period is
Yeah.
not that long.
Yeah.
Results are made available.
And the cost would be significantly less than going into hospital or doing I think they call it, but what are the tests that they actually call them?
Mammograms.
Mammogram, right?
Yeah. But I should also mention that the test is, in no way will it indicate you which stage of the disease you have, but the protein that the test will target is a stage-specific protein.
Yeah.
So the protein has high expression during stage 1 breast cancer, with moderate expression for stages 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
So that's quite nice because you can pick it up during each and every stage of the disease.
Gotcha. Guys, that's Dr. Van Vuuren. I just want to close off by telling you about Dr. Van Vuuren and my condolences. He lost his brother recently. His father he lost at a very young age. He's been through a lot of tough times. He's been through a hard time in his life. He's got an impairment which has not held him back. Thanks, doctor. I appreciate that you come in. I really am so happy that you're part of this team.
Thank you.
And I'm actually very confident, looking at the information in front of me, that you're going to be successful. And we'll give you all our support.
Thank you. I'm truly honored to be a
I'm so happy. I really was, when I read this, I was beyond happy. And I read it a few times over because I wanted to know that we're doing something amazing for one more entrepreneur. Congratulations, Doc.
Thank you.
Do you want to help the doc off here? Would you help him? Thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
Guys, that was Dr. van Vieren. It's amazing to see a man that has gone through so much trouble. You must all be very you must all be very thankful to the Almighty there where you're sitting tonight, because you have everything more and a little bit more than Dr. van Vieren. That he's had a dream. It's taken him 44 years to get here, but it's not too late. It's the start of an adventure. It's amazing. Obviously, you know he's not going to get the motor vehicle because he won't be able to drive it. Then we'll be in a position to support whatever other needs he has. We now want to just chat about the process of entrepreneurship for a few minutes. Look at this doctor as an example. I just can't get him out of my mind. He's 44 years old. He's only 4 years younger than me. But yet, he was hanging in there all this time throughout these family losses, his personal losses, not having a job, having to be told you can't study this particular initiative, and coming through all of that. And at the end of the day, delivering a product which is just amazing. So we're going to support him. We've pledged 3 million towards him. Contracts have been signed. It's the start for this entrepreneurship program. I think what I was really dying to see, guys, is me putting money down. Because, you know, you'll get a lot of people out there that will run these campaigns and run these wonderful entrepreneurship things, but put no money into it and put no time and effort. And trust me, this is taking a bit of my time, which I'm loving and I'm enjoying. And things like this make me so, I don't want to say emotional because I'm not going to cry now or anything, but it just helps me get to realize that there's still hope for entrepreneurs like us out there. And there's a lot of people out there that have great ideas. I was so amazed that this idea came by. I took the idea to Professor Sandeep Bana. I let him have a look at it. Sandeep, I hope you're watching. He loved the idea. He's an amazing doctor himself. I introduced the idea to other doctors just to get their feedback. So enough about that now. So you know who this winner is. You'll get all the details of this investment and this particular initiative, and we'll monitor it every single month. I'll report back to you guys. You guys can get on the website and see what he's doing. If you want to be invested in it, I don't have a problem. If you want to put a little bit of money into it, I don't have a problem. But I am underwriting this investment myself, and I'm looking forward to actually him achieving something beautiful. So let's just go a little step back. I know there's a lot of questions that you guys have, and a lot of the times we spend a huge amount of our time answering these questions because that's what you guys want. You want interactive arrangements, you want to answer questions, and I've picked out a couple of questions, but before I go on, I want to use this one opportunity to announce one of the winners. They were picked really randomly. They're for the 10,000 Rand vouchers. The first one, and I'm reading out here, it's big. People think I'm so bloody blind. It must be like 20 here. But it says it's Thatu Masalesa. So Thatu, congratulations, and thank you very much for your support. And thank you for being there for the rest of us and being part of our little community. And I'm really proud of you. I hope you're going to use the money wisely. Do not go and buy Gucci jerseys. Make sure you go spend the money on good stuff that makes sense. So that's the first winner on the 20 on the vouchers. I have 2 winners. I meant to tick this off. So Thatu is out of there. Thatu, congratulations. And then quickly for the data vouchers, we have Singizwa Dikwena. That's our first winner, 1,000 Rand. You have Ore Krul, or is it Dri Krul, I think it is. And we have the third one, Farhana Jusub. The fourth one, Kudakwashe Kahari. The fifth one, Boy Timelo Marcela. Those are the 5 winners for now, and we'll get to more as we're going along. I just want to switch quickly onto the questions because I know you guys want to look at that very carefully. In the meantime, I do want to remind you about lunch and the fact that we're running a, what do they call this? A competition, not say competition, but let's say an auction around the issue that relates to having lunch so that we can spend some time together. I want to donate the money to charity. I do like seafood, but I'll pay the bill, I promise. But in the meantime, we're going to go to the auction. What does that say? quality of entries. Quality of entries. I'm going to get to that. So just to let you know, we had so many entries in there. They abrupt me with these big boards, forgive me. But the issue is that when I look at all of these, I want to tell you that whoever has submitted an opportunity to us, I've undertaken to respond to you, please God, before the end of this month with regard to the month of June. So I do think that the team has gone through all of them. I have some young entrepreneurs working with me that are going through these things, and I will respond to each and every one of you. For those that haven't had the opportunity at this stage to submit anything, please do. Don't think your idea is crazy. Don't think it's out of control. Those are usually the ones that make the most money. So don't find yourself in that position. Always find yourself believing in yourself. Don't let people get you down. Don't let them tell you it won't work. Don't let them tell you it's a bad idea. See for yourself. Weigh it up yourself. Look at what you have to offer. Stop worrying about the next man and what his idea is. Focus on what's important to you. As I mentioned previously, some of the most fantastic ideas that have come about is ideas where you're able to utilize a tool, a software, and something unique that allows you to do everyday life easier. So I'm going to go to some of the questions now. I'm going to put this page aside. I have a question from Evan Matthews. What is the most important risk you have taken and why? I don't know if that's marriage now, but I think he's talking about a business risk. So let me focus on that very carefully. I think one of the biggest risks I took, guys, was when I went to Zimbabwe and I wanted to get into a coal mining business. And that's the truth. People have seen Zimbabwe as a place you mustn't go there. It's got sanctions and a whole bunch of negative things. But with a high risk element behind it, I assumed immediately, when everyone said to me, it's so high risk, Moti, just be careful. Don't go there, chill out, you can do things better here. And I said, no, let me go look at it myself. Let me go and explore it myself. But more importantly than that, I also knew with a bit of high risk, there could be a higher reward. And as a result thereof, I made sure that I was able to do some of the control mechanisms and reduce some of the control risks and other risks associated to me being in charge or in control of the investment. So I went to Zimbabwe, and I remember, I can't remember the exact date, but I went with my wife. We hired a car. We drove all the way out to Kwekwe. And this is how African Cornfields was born. I went and met an amazing guy there. His name was Emerson Mnangagwa, or is Emerson Mnangagwa. And that stage he was in charge of the province in Zimbabwe. I met him and I said to him, listen, I have an alluvial chrome opportunity that I'm doing in your area. What do you have to say? Do you think it's a good idea? He said, look, I need to see it. I said to him, you won't believe it. It's amazing. It's an alluvial chrome business, one of the only ones in the world where the chrome is literally on the ground to about 1 meter. And it's along the Great Dyke. And I went and he said to me, look, I'll come and have a look at it. And tomorrow morning, we'll go and have a look at it. I said, fine. I said, our helicopter will fetch you in Kwekwe and we'll go to the mine. And behold, in the morning, it started raining. And I had to wait till about 11 o'clock. And eventually I went out to Kwekwe. We had a look at the place. And what I was looking forward to was when you go into this particular mine, you'll see that the chrome is on the ground, but when the sun in the morning comes onto the mine, you'll notice it just lights up and looks like Tinseltown, literally. You just see the chrome. You literally have to scoop it up in a mining process and then wash it out through a washing plant, and you have chromium. So it was quite simple. I was really impressed myself. I used to go around this hundreds and thousands of, thousands of hectares of reserve, and I used to use water bottles as Valpre bottles, scoop up some sand, shake it out, and then make sure that it delivers some chromium, and the bottom was my easiest test. So one of the biggest risks I done was to invest in African Cornfields. At that stage, I was still part of the Moti Group. As you know what it is, it's the little baby I started and the baby I developed over the last almost 2 decades. And I obviously divorced it. And now I'm running it myself because it is my passion. So that was a big investment because I didn't do all the metallurgical studying as most people would do it. And most big businesses would go and they do this elaborate study and they'll find ways and means of criticizing the investment and do all of the stuff I'm telling you to do. But in this case, I just had a hunch and I said, listen, it looks okay to me, let's do it. And $240 million later, the investment is still running. It's a beautiful investment. It's growing every day, and there's a smelter that's being built. I think I answered that question. Out. 1. Evan, I'm done with you. Muhammad Gabru, what are the key principles or strategies you believe are crucial for young entrepreneurs to succeed in your respective industries. You know, I think one of the most important things is you just need to not give up. And I know every one of these rich, wealthy billionaires and so on, they say the same thing. But you need to reach that point where you actually truly believe in yourself and you believe in your product. As I mentioned before, you cannot sell something to anyone if you yourself not sold into it 100% or 1,000,000%. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to find yourself in a position where everything's going to be easy. So there are going to be tough ropes that you're going to be working around. There's going to be hard times that you're going to be feeding. There's going to be hard times of cash flow. It's always a bad one, that cash flow one. I know everyone struggles with that, including me at times. But Mohammed, I think the most important thing is you've got to have faith. And that's where I want to end that. You've got to have faith in yourself, in your product, and the ability to sell it to other people. And you have to have faith that somewhere along the line, someone is going to see what you're saying, and they're going to buy into it and make that dream a reality. Don't give up is an easy thing to say because it's a short sentence. Have tenacity. That's so much more important. So I hope I've answered your question, Mohammed. Thank you for that. And now we have Jacina Majida. How does one know that your business is now mature enough and ready to look at a footprint beyond our South African borders? Please also advise on how you grow networks beyond our borders in order to become part of a global economy. Well, how do you know you should go big out of the country? You should buy a jet. No, I'm joking. And that's the easiest way to leave the country, in your private jet. I'm just joking. I think it's a very valid question. I don't know what business you're referring to, but I do think that when you've exhausted the possibilities of growth by reinvestment in your local enterprise, by reinvestment in the capital that's required to generate revenue in your country, and you see that you're reaching the point where orders are not growing at a specific percentage or rate on a monthly basis or quarterly basis, then that's sort of like an indicator to say maybe I should be looking for other avenues for me to be able to strengthen my business, to expand my business, and so on. And going beyond South Africa, or the borders in this case, doesn't necessarily mean you need to go into a new country and do it all by yourself. Normally, if you're able to go into the country, spend a bit of time, get the feel for the country, get the pace for the country, understand how things work, study the laws somewhat around your business, understand who the competitors are, understand who the players are in your industry, talk to them, go and visit them, make sure that they understand your business, ask them questions. It's usually easier to make mistakes by learning those mistakes from other people, or how they came out of those difficult positions, and learning cheaper by listening to people that have been in the industry and have made some mistakes. So it's always good to be talking. It doesn't cost you any money to be humble. It doesn't cost you any money to just be quiet at times and listen, so that you can have a bit of food for thought around some of the issues perhaps you haven't thought about. So let's get back to the issue about expanding beyond the borders. I think that'll depend on supply and demand. It's always very good to establish what your market size is in the country, what the competitors look like in your industry in the country, and what percentage of the market share they have, how you'll penetrate the market if you were in there, what's the cost of getting into the country, what will be your cost for a long period or medium-term period if you were supposed to go into the country and be competitive in the industry and be offering lesser price for a product that's being manufactured. So there's a whole bunch of considerations. I think if you've already established yourself in the borders in South Africa, all what I'm telling you, you've already known. You've already developed and understood, and you found yourself in that space where you kind of understand the industry, the business, because you're a player in your industry by then. And you should know the answers to these. So I think making friends is always good. Speaking to the government in the country you want to go to, fantastic. Working with the government people, fantastic. Working with the industry relating to government, example, if you're in the mining, go to see the Ministry of Mines, go and get information, speak to the Minister of Mines, if you have access to them. And maybe if your business is big enough and your business is a worthwhile investment for the new country, go and meet the president, go and meet the vice president, write to them, write to the various deputies, or should I say permanent secretaries of the industries that you're in. Now, in Africa, the beautiful part about it, and I always tell you guys this, it's so very important. In Africa, you need to learn and understand the culture of the people in the country you want to operate. I think one of the biggest drawbacks about foreign investment around African countries as well as South Africa. There's a lot of people come and invest in these countries, like South Africa and Zimbabwe and so on, but they don't necessarily understand how the people's minds work, how their cultures work, how they think, how their culture affects their business, how their culture affects their decision making. So important. They are the owners of the countries you're operating in. They've been there for thousands or hundreds of years. Learn to understand and respect their traditions and learn to understand how they think. So their culture will be an important part for you to understand to become part of their country. I think I've done that question. Yusuf Laher. I think I recognize this name, Yusuf. But there's so many Yusuf Lahers, so I hope it's the right one. The hardest thing I found is to get back up after being kicked and being knocked down. I was hit really hard and I'm still struggling to emotionally get back up. You've been knocked and battered, but still managed to keep going. What's the secret? That secret, and it always comes back to believing in yourself, believing in the Almighty, and having faith to understand one particular thing that I live by. When something is perceived to happen that is bad, and you don't understand the reason because you just think it's a bad thing, know that it may not be a bad thing. Know that there's a bigger purpose for you. Accept whatever the situation is and understand that there will be better situation that presents itself as a result of this, that a better opportunity may present itself. So for example, if you go to a bank and you apply for a loan and you have this whole thing planned out. I mean, I've done this as a young man as well. And you find yourself, the bank comes back and they say the first level of credit is approved. The second level of credit is approved. It's going for sanctioning. Comes the Friday, it's the afternoon, and now you find that it's a decline. What do? You don't just fall down at the side of the road and decide, bang, I'm over. No, you get up and you go to the next bloody bank and you go to the next investor and you find the next private equity firm to be able to give you the opportunity where you can share upside with them and sell your idea. But I think what you're talking about here is not just business. I think it's an emotional setback. It's so intertwined, your emotional well-being versus your business well-being. No one in their right mind can tell you that when you're troubled in your mind, that your business will always be successful. I know for a fact that when you're at ease in your mind, your business always does better. Less time is awarded to the things that perhaps you have no control over. So just bear in mind, perhaps sometimes you have no control over the circumstances. There's no point in fretting about it. If you have no control over a situation, what's the point in worrying about it? If you have no control about the destiny of a certain decision, then just accept it. But know that with the grace of Allah and the grace of Almighty, whatever decision that you are given is a good one. Never doubt that. I know it's difficult for us to see at the time when we receive these crazy decisions that seem negative. But Almighty, He certainly will be able to guide us along the way because He has a bigger picture. He sees the bigger picture. We don't. We see here and now, and all we're interested is here and now. It's more and bigger than that. So I hope you stand up and I hope you get off the ground and start fighting again, Yusuf. Tulani Matuwani Ntuwani. Let me repeat that. Tulani Ntuwani. What was the worst business decision you ever made? And what lesson have you learned? I think I've answered that already. I didn't say, oh, sorry, you said the most risky one. I think one of the worst business decisions I made was a smelter I built a couple of years back for about 3 billion. I think I was a little bit ahead of myself. I think I wanted to try and do something that I didn't know enough about. I think I failed at it because I wasn't wanting to listen to other people. I think I got it wrong because I was a little pig-headed and arrogant about how I seen things. I'm regretful about it because had I listened more carefully to the people around me, those opportunities could have turned out differently. So that decision of me building a smelter was one that I won't want to go down again. I think it's a certain skill type. I didn't have that skill. But then again, I'm giving you an example of what was bad, but I'm now going to explain to you what good came out of that. Out of a direct result of that bad investment, I ended up going to Zimbabwe. And that was really fantastic. It was a great opportunity. I love it there. It's like my second home. It's amazing. I don't want to rave too much about Zimbabwe. People have their views about it. I just love it. But I'm there today because of that bad investment. So good came out of it. One always needs to look back in hindsight and say, would I have done this had I not been there? Would I be here today if I didn't go through all the process I went through, in the timeline I went through, and made all those good and bad decisions I did at the time? Would I now be in this position that I am today? And if you can put hand on heart, and say that I'm happy where I am at now, then all these difficult and good opportunities have come and gone, have now given you the position you're in. So goods come out of it. Okay, Tulani, Wasifa Hatan, at what point did you look at your business and consider it a success? Jeez, I look at that every day and I say, how can I make this bigger, better, more powerful, more stronger? You know, that greed element, we all have it, that big G. I'm talking about the greed now. But that big G element is a bad element because the more you got, the more you want, and the more you want, tomorrow you want even more. Sometimes I think I feel success now that I'm slightly in the middle ages. I'm feeling success in the fact that I don't need to measure success by money. Now, that may come across as easy for me to say because you see the way I perhaps sometimes live or much car I drive or whatever. But it's not about that. I still have little kids, you know. I told you guys I have a newborn. But when I look at this kid now, and I'm 48 years old, and he's in my arms, he's 7 weeks old, I feel really happy. And for me, that's a different type of success. Money has come to me, very little to me now. And I know that sounds weird because you need that commodity to make things happen. You need that commodity to change your destiny. You need that commodity to live, to pay your parents' bills, to make your children's life. I know you need that, but that's just one of the commodities you need. There's so many wealthy people out there that still are not happy. There's so many wealthy people out there that haven't reached that point where they have an equilibrium and are just feeling satisfied. And I think I'm getting to that point. So when you talk about success, I think success is a subjective element. And for me, it's not only money. For me, it's about being able to give back to the next man. For me, it's about being able to get those young people educated, first of all, you guys, and making a difference to you guys. So those are the two big important things to me. And my children are your guys' age. My son's 24. My other one's, I'm sure, like 7 weeks. So there's a big disparity. But for me, I just want to make difference in people's lives. I had a tough life myself. And I understand why you guys always want to know how I did it or what I'm doing and so on. I can understand that. But just hang in there. Make sure family is always the most important thing. Your mom, like, critical for you to be able to be in a position where you're looking after your parents. Don't listen to anybody about this. I promise you, this is a massive success issue. Make sure you look after the folks. Make sure you look after your younger brothers and sisters. Go out of your way. You'll never regret it. You will regret not doing it, though. Anyway, let me move on. Wasifa Hatton, I explained that to you, Wasifa. Nati Hadebe. Hello, everybody. I would like to find out about the 30 million program that Mr. Moti spoke about. Yes, it's now 27 million, by the way, Nati. So you best get going fast. Dr. Van Vieren made off with 3 bars. So we got a bit of money left. And I promise you guys, as you can see, I'm going to make these investments because I know that I have those decisions and I can make those decisions quickly and fast. But I also know that as soon as other entrepreneurs, and I have 1 or 2 really good brothers, that will support this initiative because they can see what I'm trying to give back. I know they're going to put money in, and together we're going to make a bit of money and have lots of fun and learn lots of new things. So I've answered that. Latamu Matsila, what are the recipes of such massive success you acquired, bearing in mind that you're self-made? You know, Nati, nobody is self-made. No man and no woman is an island to themselves. You've heard that cliche. The truth of the matter is, when you surround yourself by good people, first of all your family, and then good workers and business partners and friends, you have a better chance of succeeding in anything you want to do. I've had such difficult times. You guys have seen in some of my TikToks and so on. I've explained to you how jail was. Now, I made it sound really funny, and I made it sound like a laughable experience because I'm sitting here in hindsight with this 2020 vision. And I'm in a position now to share with you and make it sound like it was just okay. But at the time, it felt like it was the end of the world for me. And I know how you guys feel out there. I can understand it. I can relate to you. I can relate to how you feel when you don't have cash in your pocket. I do understand that. I do come from that. I understand when you get to the parking lot that you don't have the money to even pay the bloody parking, or you take out your card and you go out for dinner and it swipes and you're scared because you don't have this $500 there and the bill's 600 Rand, or there's 600 Rand there and the bill's 500. It's like nervous. you go out on a date and you can't pay for the date. And I understand all of this. I've been there. I can relate to what you're saying. It's just that none of these wealthy people, they make themselves available to let you know that it's all fine. It's okay. I understand. I see it. I feel it. I hear you. I acknowledge how you're feeling about it, but it all gets better. You just need to hang in there, stick in there, and make sure that you don't give up your dream. Make sure that you keep on pushing those buttons. You look at all the guys when they needed initial initial seed capital. They went everywhere. They've seen hundreds of people. They didn't lose the opportunity even to see a middle-class guy with no money. Maybe he had a little bit of money to invest with you. Don't give up any opportunity, and don't make the mistake of being greedy. Share the opportunities, because in sharing, you'll be able to achieve much faster the initial capital and your ideas. So, Lutamo Matsila, what are the recipes for such messages? I think I've answered that one, sorry. Richmond Ntishali, sorry if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. What other, if I may pose the question, what distinguishes attributes or elements do you reckon set apart the truly remarkable exponential features from the mundane and ordinary ones? Simplicity. The more simple the idea, the easier it is to work. The more easier the concept, everybody understands it and will want to finance it. It must be something that's so obvious that you just see it, and you see it by mistake and by accident, and these things just happen. And there are many of it. And I've seen some of those that have come through. And I do think that it doesn't mean that I didn't look at it favorably, that it's not great. I've given some feedback on most of the stuff so that we can be in a position to let you maybe research it a bit more or find one or two aspects I think are missing in it where possible. So I think what makes things different is try and keep things simple. Make sure that there's a number of people that will use whatever your trick is or your idea is or your unique concept is. Make sure that there's masses for it. And if there isn't, then look for ideas that have a high take price, and don't be scared of it, but it must work. So what is your deal breaker in any business opportunity? I think it's when people are stubborn. It's a deal breaker for me. I think when people don't want to change their thinking because it makes sense and they're stubborn, it's a deal breaker. Be open, be humble, listen. I keep on saying that because I made some of those awful mistakes to be pig-headed about stuff, to be horribly stubborn, where people said, who is that guy? Don't let him come back here. And don't be put off by guys that say to you, it's a horrible idea, piss off from here. Don't be put off by that. Take the constructive criticism and see whether it's valid, and then look to see whether you can improve whatever you have so that you can better your position. But coming back to your question, a deal breaker for me is also cash flow. I don't want to be invested in things that take forever to make money. I also don't want to be invested in things that have had a sell-by date and that's a recreation of something else or someone copying someone else. I want unique ideas. Those are great opportunities for me personally. The other deal breakers is when we're in a position where someone has a great idea but doesn't want to part with the upside. Now, I've seen a lot of people write back and say, Zunaid, what happens if I tell you my idea and you take it and you steal it? Those are one of the things that I looked at and I said, yeah, but if I had a great idea and I told it to Zunaid, it would be bad. He would just maybe take it. And it's possible that people can do that to you. But you have to also take a leap of faith. You have the NDAs with us that you can sign, the non-disclosure arrangements, so that we have to be very cautious about how we deal with your information and make sure we protect it and don't abuse it, etc. But you won't get that perhaps everywhere else, and it's a very real concern. So when you want to share your unique idea, let someone sign an NDA and then show it to them. It just happened to me last week as a matter of interest. I came up with a fantastic idea for a specific group of individuals that have a society together, or should I say a confederation together, to raise money consistently on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis to create sustainability. But it was such a great idea. I phoned my partner. She's a lady in this particular industry. And I said, what do you think of this? And she was very excited, but she tried to keep herself like cool and said, yeah, I'm going to think about it. The next day I could see she was excited and we were on. But the idea was unique. And I was also kind of like in my mind said, if I tell these guys this idea, would they need me? And then I realized, listen, I came up with the idea, and if they take the idea, I'm very sure they're not going to be able to implement it because they won't have the passion, the detail, the strive, and the push for it. So this is going to make tens of millions of rands on a weekly basis, and it's still a great idea, and it's just come to me. With all that's happening, this idea still just came to me, and it helps them too. So every day I'm prepositioned for different business ideas, but every day I also think about my own unique ideas, and I think that's so very important. There is one idea that I'm not going to share with you guys this month. It's one that I've been looking at, and I sent someone home to explore it more carefully. And one of the team members in this particular initiative came up with an idea, and I just want to get permission from you guys, sort of, in general, since we are family. This person came up with such a unique idea, and I love the idea. And I was forced to say, no, you're part of the team now. You can't benefit in this. And it was a sad moment because it's a young lady. She came up with an amazing idea. You guys are going to love this idea, especially if you're having kids and all of that, or you have little kids. But next month, I'm going to put her into the race. I don't want it to become a nepotism, or I don't want it to become a situation where one of the people involved in our enterprise is driving the Porsche and you guys feel I'm unfair. But it's also unfair for me not to let them participate. So I think if I can have a couple of comments from some show of hands somehow and let me know that everything's cool and they can enter, it's a great idea. You guys can check it out next month and take it from there. I'm going to pause here for a moment and say to you the purpose of this particular initiative of the webinar is for us to be able to give feedback to you on the entrepreneurs. But the website's also going to give that to you. And we create a story. From the time we started with this person till the time they manage to realize their cash flow, or should I say monetize the idea, or buy their Porsche, or whatever it is. We want to be part of that journey. So this is what I'm doing. And I wish that every single month we come across such great opportunities that you guys have sent me. I do want you guys to focus a little bit more on the detail. Don't send me a one page and say to me, I need R1 million, and then like 3 sentences. I don't know what to do with that. And please, I beg you, don't send me an idea that's been done 1 million times. But I will still reply because I want to be polite and I want to show you that I want to hear you. But come with stuff and don't think it's silly. Whatever you're thinking, put it nicely on a piece of paper. Try to articulate it. And next month, what I'm going to try and do is allow you the opportunity to send me stuff, maybe by you talking and presenting it. Because maybe some people find it very difficult to write the stuff out and time-consuming. Maybe you just want to share your idea on a small video or a short 2-minute type of little clipping, and you want to send it to me. Look, I love that. I hate reading, to be honest with you. When I was at school, I was horrible at reading. When it came to exams time, just the thing that killed me the most was just studying. Therefore, I loved mathematics, I loved statistics, I loved science and accounting because you didn't have to study really. Just had to know the concepts. So now, this doctor we just sponsored now, at the moment, he's not going to love me for what I just said because I was a little bit lazy. I just wanted quick release out of school, go and do whatever I needed to do, go out with whoever I needed to, and so on. I'm coming back to your questions. How can young entrepreneurs earn the trust of professional business owners to invest in their startups? I think the one important thing is most people, when they've achieved a bit of money and a bit of success and so on, what happens to them immediately is they are able to judge, not judge, that's the wrong word, they're able to gauge people out. So they can look at you, and sometimes I can do it too. I'm not a fortune teller, don't worry. But I can look at you and I can see if you're lying or if you're twitching incorrectly. You start unconsciously reading body language and so on. The best advice I can give you is just be honest. If it's a bad thing, say it's a bad thing. If it's something you don't know, say it's something I don't know. People respect and appreciate you just being upfront. You don't need to lie. You don't need to bend the truth. Don't do any of that stuff. Just be honest. Put your cards on the table. This is what I have. This is what I need. This is where I'm going. And if it's not good enough for that person, then they shouldn't be talking to you. Okay, so that was Samir. There's a few more questions. How much time do we have, guys? We finished an hour here. Jeez. Sorry, guys. How many people on this webinar, by the way? Do we have a count?
Yes.
How much?
Just short of 15,000.
15,000. Jeez, that's a lot of people. Thank you very much once again. And I hope it's making sense for you, and I hope we're learning from each other. I want to see more interaction from you guys. I want to see you guys write to me, even if it sounds silly. I want to see that you ask me constructive criticism or difficult questions. I want to give the constructive criticism if I can and if I'm allowed to. And I also, on that note, want to ask you an important thing that you guys can help me with. I want to know whether or not you think it's a great idea for us to hire a hangar in Lanseria, aircraft hangar, a lot of space, deck it out nicely, have some nice refreshments, have a nice, and I'll fund it, so that we can have maybe 1,000 of our entrepreneurs to come through, so that we can be in a position where we can get a couple of bankers there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, because you know how bankers love me so much. So I don't know if I'm going to get you the bankers, but I'm going to get you a couple of entrepreneurs, some friends of mine that have money and that are good entrepreneurs, some maybe some private equity guys that I can round up, and then you guys have what in the olden days they used to call a shindig. Is that right? And then you guys can rub shoulders with these guys, and we can exchange ideas. We can look at each other in the eye. I don't want to charge for this thing if I'm able to not charge for it, but I would like for you guys to think about it and let me know. I'm thinking about August or September, so we can get each other face to face. You can ask some questions. We don't have to read everything. Yep.
Please tell them it is live. It's not pre-recorded.
Sorry, this is not recorded, and I'm not going to pick my nose to prove that, but this is live. Anyway, so the other issue for me is to encourage you to have a face-to-face with all these people. And I would be keen to invite some other entrepreneurs and make sure that these entrepreneurs come along. There's so much more than just me. I promise you, there's so many amazing people out there. And I think you guys will get great value out of chilling out them, getting to understand their minds, maybe bouncing some ideas of them. So I want to do this. I don't want it to cost you any money. So I'm trying to gauge from you guys if you guys think August or September. September is a great month because it's my birthday month, so I just love the month. But also happens to be spring. And I want to have a bit of feedback from you guys to think if it's a good idea, so we can have this and we can have an opportunity to rub shoulders. We can get some guys with some nice cars. You can have a look at the nice cars. We're not smoking them. Don't smoke cigars. That's only for me. And and cigarettes, no. And I hate those inhaler things. Sorry, I must say that my son does that. He smokes those vapes. I don't like them. Anyway, and I got a question from Angela. Can you suggest a good resource on how to write successful business plan? Yeah, I think you can get those off the internet, but it's not what I want you to do. I want you to develop your own idea of what you think a business plan is. I think it's important for you to learn to develop your own idea and then take it through the process of developing your own business plan. Don't worry about what I think. I'll give you guidelines. I'll put it on the on my website. You can download it and play around with it. Don't be dictated to. Entrepreneurs are hunters. When you go on a hunt, I was hunting this weekend. Nope, there's no book that says, and you got to walk 3 steps close to the buffalo. What if I didn't shoot a buffalo? But you don't want to be in that position where you're dictated to. You're an entrepreneur. You're a power player. You're someone that's a hunter. You're out there. Don't be clouded in by other people's ideas. Create your own narrative. Create your own ideology around how you want that business plan to work. But make sure it has some simple things in it. As I told you, how much money I need, what is my idea, how long is it going to take for me to generate cash positive position, and how much is that going to cost me? Forget about the balance sheet for now. They'll come later. So I hope I've answered that, Angela. Hamza Lambada. I know the surname. One of my friends have got that surname. How did Moti know what he wanted to do in life regards to mining? Was that his passion, or did Mr. Moti just find a getaway in that sector? Man, honestly speaking, I wanted to be an archaeologist. I know that sounds weird, but I really did. And when I was young, I think I got married when I was just very young, my first marriage. And I went on honeymoon to a place called Egypt. And I spent some time there and I loved it. Since I was a boy, I just wanted to dig stuff up and find treasure. And I wanted to go and find amazing things as an archaeologist. Man, it just wasn't appealing to the cash flow, since it didn't pay me. I needed a degree. I needed to do lots of things to get there. So I said, bugger it, I'm just going to get out of school and start making money. So I just got dropped into life, to be quite honest with you. I had nothing. I came out of grade school. I had a sponsorship in the school. I was just angry with life a little bit, to be honest with you. I was angry and I felt like the world owed me because I was poor, I was invisible, nobody listened to me. I'm with you guys out there, I understand your feelings. And I just wanted to make some money. I wanted to buy my mama a house. I wanted to pay the rent. I wanted to do things that make sense so that, I felt better about who I was because I owed it to my mother, And for me, that was my driving force for most of my life. You guys know the story. She died. It's a circle of life. I still don't like it. That pain never goes away. I know you guys have lost your mom out there. Understand what I'm saying. That pain just never goes away, the loved ones. But I got just dropped into these business ideas and I needed to find my way out of it. And today I normally find myself, if I get into a business deal, if I decide with the sixth sense sometimes that I'm going to do it, then I get into it and it's like swimming, And I don't know how to swim, so I'm not going to use that example. So you get into the water and you figure your way out of there. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be some high tides, low tides, whatever it is. Get in there, because if you're not in there, then you're not in the game. And you're not making decisions. It's like being stagnant and standing alone. You don't want to be in that position. Any decision is good. A good decision, a bad decision, any bloody decision is good. No decision is a bad decision for you to make. Just take decisions. Think carefully about them. Use simple logic. Don't overcomplicate things. Nadia Gangat, how do I start a business with no capital assets of my own? Good question. Well, I must just tell you that the current business I'm busy with at the moment, I'm starting with no money. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I myself am under confidentiality with it. This particular initiative is the one I spoke about, and some people who have known about this transaction and the people I'm dealing with, and at a later stage, I'm going to use it as a case example of how you can make money. You need to sometimes look at opportunities or businesses that are existing and expenses that exist and try and turn those into opportunities. So you may find, for example, in my case, it's an organization that has lots of members, but people complain about putting membership together. And I came up with a concept that gives them money on a daily basis, and I don't need any capital to do that. And that's a fact, I don't need any capital. There are great ideas like that. You just need to find which they are. I'll just give you another very simple idea. If you look at people and the overtime that they spend in businesses on a regular basis, most people don't know that once you're over a certain threshold and you have a salary over a certain threshold, that you're not really entitled to overtime to some extent. And I don't want to get into the details because I'm not an attorney for employees and that sort of stuff. But if you develop just, in my business, what I would love to see is an app that just tells me how many overtime hours someone is actually working. And then I look at those overtime hours and establish what that costs my business. Now, when sometimes you look at the overtime in a mining business, I found this example in my mind, there's 2,000 plus people working there. And I look at the overtime and I say, but I pay these people so much overtime. Can I not rather find an easy app for me to decide whether I should just maybe employ other people? Now, if you just took that one little idea and just wrote a little program and went to all businesses and said to them, listen, let me just help you establish whether your overtime in your business is equitable vis-a-vis having more employees that will do longer hours and you get more efficiency out of it. A simple idea like that could make you a bit of money. But keep it simple. There's expenses. Try and make sure that businesses themselves can reduce their expenses by some unique ability of yourself. People generally, and I've seen this happen all over the place. I see nowadays when I go and drop my little 4-year-old and 3-year-old at school, I see this bus pitch up and with lots of little children in it. And I asked the guy the other day, I said, hey, what are you doing here? It's a security hazard for me, for my children. He said, no. The parents find it difficult to drop 2 or 3 different type of children off in the school. So I developed this little business in this great van and someone to help me with it and the little children, and we entertain them on the bus and all of that, and we bring them to school and everyone's happy and hunky-dory, and that's fantastic. And I said, and how much does this cost? And he says, it's not a lot of money, it's 1,200 Rand per month per child, and it runs, and I do so many trips. And I just thought to myself, what an innovation. There's so many parents out there that need to go to work, that need to quickly drop a bunch of kids off, maybe little children going somewhere else. Now, what that man is catered for is someone's problem. You found a problem, and you found an adequate solution for it. That's what you need to do. Go around your house, go around your family businesses, go into your boss where you're currently working, or if it's your own business. Find where you don't like spending money. And then forget about it for a minute and look at wherever you spend money. Then find a way of reducing that spend. I'll give you another example. You want to make money. You go to a company. You don't have a job. You say, listen, I'm going to work for free today. They're going to be like, no way. Say, no, I'm going to work for free. For the next 1 month, I'm going to work for you for free. They'll say, how can that happen? You'll say, all I want to do is look at what you need to pay on a daily basis. What are the bills that you need to pay on a daily basis? Please provide them to me if you trust me enough. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to be phoning the suppliers and asking them for discounts, cash discounts, on settlement, on early settlement, and cash before delivery discounts. And then you spend a month in that particular business and you show your value. You phone, get the invoices, negotiate with the suppliers, a small discount. Doesn't need to be big, 2%, 3%, 5%. Times are bad. I have one guy that works in my company. His job is only to phone suppliers every day. I shouldn't be saying that. The suppliers are going to now take exception here and tell them times are bad, cash flow is hard, give me a discount, and I'll give you your money before 30 days. If you give me a bigger discount, I'll pay you cash before delivery if it's a good supplier, and I want a further discount, and so on. And you'll find that there's a value creation there, and nobody looks at that. Now, if a guy spends 20 or 30 or 40 million rand a month in bills, and you only save 1%, I think you've earned 400 grand. And you can agree that you could earn 50% of the upside. I'm just giving you very basic, very simple examples of how you can create value for someone else that has a problem so that you can now be in a position to benefit out of it. So I'm going to move on from there. Chumani Skosania, how difficult and how long did it take to make your first millions? Man, I don't know exactly how long it was. I think I was about 17 years old. It was a long time ago. I think maybe 31 years ago, or 16. I didn't go to someone's company and reduce their bills and ask for discounts. I did other things, I just did everything. And I tried every opportunity I had. I went into waterproofing. I just did everything, industrial waterproofing, developed an industrial waterproofing business. And then when I had 21, I made a lot of money with this future fin concept. So it was me wanting to drive a Ferrari. I already bought one before I was 20. But the point is that I just wanted to be cheaper. I didn't want to start all my capital up in a car. I had been grown up already by the time I was 19 or 20 because I didn't have a chance to go to varsity. I didn't have a great secondary education in terms of timeline. So I was forced to become a dad quite early in my life because of what I wanted. When I say I was forced, it was my choices. Remember, whatever decisions you make, you must own the outcome. Stop complaining. So I'm not complaining with you now, guys. I'm just sharing with you that I was in a position where I just needed to make money. I had a kid, I had a wife, I had a mother, I had a family, I had a sister. She was older than me, but I always see her like my baby sister because that's how brothers generally operate, to look after their families. So I did make my money quite early. I lost all of it. I made it again. I lost it. Jeez, it was a roller coaster. 30, I made a lot of money. That was now 18 years or 19 years ago, whatever it was. And mining, I got dropped into mining because I loved it. It was close to this archaeology thing, but geez, a lot more complicated than I thought. And then I needed to learn all the stuff that everyone had forgotten. So I thought, and I made some billions and billions of rands of mistakes. Please understand that. And there's a few people out there, they'll pick their hand up and say, yeah, Moti, we remember that. So Jonathan Sussman, with all the knowledge to date, what would you do differently if you were starting your own entrepreneurial journey again? I think the first thing I'll do is think a little bit longer sometimes and just act. With me, one of the positives and negative elements that are characteristics I have, I'm impulsive. My energy is all over the place sometimes. I want to make decisions fast because I always believe that if I can't be the elephant or the Anglo-American in the room, then I must be the leopard. I must be fast and accurate, and I must take quick decisions, and I must give effect to the business very much faster. And I always was building my business around effective, efficient business trading or manufacturing or mining. I don't think any of that has changed in me. I think it's something that it's in my DNA. I want to do things fast. Everybody who knows me wants, if I've just finished my sentence, the next question is, have you done it? So people get quite irritated with me, and I can understand why. But I think if I could change things, I would want me to be a little calmer. And as I'm getting to 50, I am getting there, to be quite honest. It's feeling a bit boring because I'm not allowed to just press the button, yes, no, yes, no. I may have to use my mind. I've got 9 kids. I've got a wife. She has a lot to say, by the way, when I make mistakes. She's always reminding me, like I'm reminding this one business partner of mine that's sitting here today. I always say to him, hey man, I told you so, Danny. And he keeps on saying, stop reminding me. So, the issue for me is just be yourself, please. Stop worrying about everybody else. Allow your strengths to become your real golden opportunities and to assist you to achieve your goals. Don't worry about what people think, man. We are entrepreneurs. We don't worry about other things. Just focus on yourself. You're above the rest in the jungle. You're the hunter. Okay, winners. Sorry. Big stuff out there. Right, I'm going to give away now. We got Amanda Duma. You won 10,000 Rand. Congratulations. I hope you're going to enjoy it and spend a wonderful time. Spend some money on your mom or your dad if they're around, please God. Yusuf Kathrada. That's Kathrada, sorry. Yusuf Kathrada. You got 10 grand, Yusuf. Well done. It's a pen I can borrow from someone here. Thank you very much. So Amanda Duma and Yusuf Kathrada, you 10,000 Rand richer right now. And then we've got, for the data vouchers, we got Salman Ismail, we got Ozair Muhammad, we got Zamele Sotetsi. That's Tsotetsi. Sotetsi. My apologies. Zamele Sotetsi. We have Raisa Kasuji. We have Israel Patel. Those are 10 people. We have furthermore Faisal Muhammad. We have Muhammad Rasul. Rail Riale Boha Manche. We have Donna Gallant. We have Sai Siwanath. That's 15 people. I'm saving 5 for last. And then we have 4 sets of tickets for the Joker in July series at Empress. Oh, I didn't know that. That's so cool. Let me repeat that. Thanks to Blue Blood. What is Blue Blood, by the way? Is it okay, I don't know what it is, but they've sponsored it. Thank you very much. We have 4 sets of tickets for the Joker in July series at Empress, and that goes to Mabuso Kumalo, Divesh Bridgelal, Lauren Lee Matthews, and Zolani Nguni. Those 4 winners, thank you very much. I hope you have a great time on that particular visit. What are we doing about the auction? Where are we on the auction? Guys, do we have any bids? Do we have no bids? I had a 20,000 Rand bid on my social media the other day. Am I so cheap? What's going on? Where are we? Please, guys, let's go for lunch. In the meantime, I'm getting back to the last few questions because I don't want to leave it out. Felix Ngomane, Mr. Moti, as the founder of a successful conglomerate, does diversified portfolio, took the strategies implement to build such a diverse range of businesses within your conglomerate. Listen, this is for me like an owner-run business. It was run like that. When I handed it over to Donna Mahajani, I was so relieved, but at the same time, the compliance was just killing me. All those issues that you have to these committees and these various socials and ethics committees and these audit report committee and all of these things were driving me nuts. So I'm so happy to say that as an entrepreneur, I'm back in the game. I'm out there doing deals. I'm happy in Zimbabwe. I'm loving it. I hope that things go well with the election in Zimbabwe. I'm rooting for all the Zimbabweans out there. I'm hoping that the issues relating to the Zimbabwean problem around them being in South Africa is great. And I'm hoping that we get the issues sorted out about them being able to be here. How many minutes do we have?
25K.
25K?
For auction.
We got 25K for auction. Am I only worth 25,000 Rand? I'm not auctioning myself off, guys. Come on. Musa Valley. Come on. Musa, thank you very much. Well done. We got 35,000 Rand now coming in. I don't have my hammer here. Who's the 35,000 bid from? Give me the name.
Sherrod.
Jerry? Sherrod. Is that right? 40,000 Rand. We got 40,000 Rand. Come on, guys. This is not dollars. What's going on here? I want to take you guys.
40,000 Rand from Jerry Shahid.
Jerry Shahid.
50K.
50 grand. We're going up. I need to see 100 grand. Come on, guys. This is for donation. It's not for me. Trust me. This is for a good cause. And I'm looking forward to spending time with one entrepreneur. I'm coming back to that now. How much more time do we have, guys?
45 minutes.
45.
Oh, we got enough time. So let's go to the questions. I love these things.
75k
We got a 75 grand bid.
from Zulu.
Let me see that surname. Bring it to me. Wow, that is so amazing. Right, we got a 75 grand back from Zulu. I'm going to try and pronounce his name Zulu. Forgive me if I'm getting this thing wrong now. We got 75 grand from Zulu, and Zulu's surname is Lethukukanya. Lethukukanya. I pronounced it right. Well done, amazing. Thank you so much. And the bid's still going on. Do I have 100,000? Shahid Molete. Anyone out there? Let's go. Thank you very much. I'm going to answer a few more questions. Zuhair Patel. As an aspiring entrepreneur in the construction and home improvement industry, I believe that personal growth and continuous learning are crucial for success. With your extensive experience, I'm curious to know what specific mindset or skill set you believe is essential to navigate. Just don't give up, man. I keep on saying that. Don't worry about what people think. Stop being worried about. Sometimes, I'm not saying be disobedient to your folks, but sometimes they just want the best for you. Know that. Just listen, maybe if I could give you good advice to your parents or someone that's close or someone you trust. But don't be put off by negative criticism. Don't be put off by people that put you down. You don't need people like that put you down. You need people to prompt you up and take you where you need to go. You need people to be listening to you. You need entrepreneurs to be supporting you. You need people to be funding your ideas with you and going through the journey yourself. Me sitting here is saying that if I can make the time, then guys with a lot less money than me and CEOs in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, or guys with a lot less money than my family, I shouldn't say me, they must give their time. They must make sure that they put effort in giving time and a little bit of themselves to the entrepreneurs out there. It's all I want. And there's Muslim guys out there that I know that you need to do this. I'm going to make you guys do this because you're doing it for your youth and your kids. And there's a lot of Jewish brothers out there that I know are brilliant. There's a lot of black brothers out there. There's a lot of Chinese brothers out there. I haven't met all the Chinese brothers yet, but I have Chinese partners. So, Zubair Patel, that's your answer. Craig van Eerden, what is the most important thing that potential investors will want to know about your company and finances when you have a meeting with them? I think they want to know that there's sustainability and that you have cash flow. I promise you, there's not a guy out there that wants to buy a negative cash flow asset. So know that when you walk in there and you're punting or you're selling something, you need to first start off and know and be honest about, is this business that I have cash positive? So I'm just assuming that you got a running business now. People want to hear that you're printing cash or making money or even just breaking even is good for now.
18.
We got 80 grand. Sorry, Greg, I'm coming back to your answer now. We're at 80,000 rand. I need 200 grand. Come on, guys. This is South Africa. We got 15,000. Who's the 80,000 from? Zain?
Syed Ali.
Syed Ali has put 80 grand on the table and is still running. All right. So let's get back to something more important I want to touch on with you guys around building a business and when you experience difficulties getting to the funding of it. I've been having discussions with a lot of people the last 1 month. I tried to have a discussion with Dondo Mokhashani about this, but he was busy doing other things, litigating with some people and so on. But I had discussions with a couple of bankers, and I tried to sell the concept and idea around why do we not find a way or an institution that can allow entrepreneurs to go for a vetting process. Maybe a psychometric evaluation, maybe an academic evaluation, maybe a test that they need to write, maybe a course that they need to go on. I'm very keen for one of you guys out there, here's a business idea. Go and design a matrix out there that will allow somebody to understand your value as an entrepreneur. What do you like, what you don't like, what your academic results have been, whether you're an overachiever, how was your sport. Talk about yourself and let's work on getting some sort of program that we can get into so that we can now allow the banks to be part of this program. It makes my life, your life a lot easier because what we're going to do is convince these banks that you are a candidate for an entrepreneurial funding program. So, and I know these banks are going to come to the party because they know they need entrepreneurs like us to create jobs now. It's obvious. I mean, amazing. I must tell you something really amazing that I found out the other day. I met the Minister of Entrepreneurship from Botswana. We have an amazing country. And Mr. President out there, please, You're doing a great job on various factors, but can you please, if you have 1 minute to listen to this, think about the fact of having a Minister of Entrepreneurship. Now, Mr. Masisi, President Masisi, was amazing. He came up with this crazy idea, and it's an amazing idea. He said, I'm going to appoint a Minister of Entrepreneurship. And I thought that was fantastic. I listened to the guy's idea. I want to go to Botswana to try and help out there and get involved in the entrepreneurship program. I want to put some money into it. But if it's government supported and government funded, it's so much more exciting because you know that our government is doing something for us to take us to the next level. The next point is there's a huge amount of investment that is made via the parastatals like the PIC. They get their money from the GEPF, which is the Government Employee Pensions Fund. And that is something as entrepreneurs we need to go and do. And what I mean by that is simple. Our parents, our grandparents, even some of your parents as they are right now, and even some young people are working for government. And their pension funds are going into whatever the government pension fund is called. I think it's called the Government Employees Pension Fund. And there's trillions of rands there, I think 2.5 trillion. I was reading about it, etc. And I noticed that some of that money is invested in all of corporate South Africa. But that's one thing that we need to perhaps approach and see whether they will support entrepreneurship. And they have the money. They're going to be supporting all the members, grandkids and kids to get into business so they can do employment and be successful. That's one other idea. The other is, as I mentioned, the banks. We've got to get them to understand that we're good as humans, we academically well qualified, there's something special about us as entrepreneurs, and we've got to develop a program, as I mentioned, that allows the banks to get comfort with us as entrepreneurs, so they can fund us and not an asset and not a risk, and stop looking at these risks as though it's assets, liabilities, incomes, and expenses only. Those are things we're going to have to look at anyway. The most important thing is they need to look at the jockey, and the jockey is one of us, a young girl, a young boy, an old guy, an old lady that has a great idea, that's an entrepreneur, that's gone through a course that the bank or financial institute feels that they're more comfortable to be dealing with as the person. Charity. Oh, the charity for this particular auctioning of this initiative will be selected by social media after the webinar, and I think that's very fair. On a poll, sorry. On a poll. How tall is the poll? No, I'm kidding. So the charity will be selected by you guys, and I know you guys will make a good choice, and I'm happy with that. So coming back to about the banks. So we need to club together. We need to form a little organization. My mind's racing about this. We need to have a South African Entrepreneurial Association or Entrepreneurs of South Africa, and we need to break it up into one. Just keep it simple so that we have a voice. We have a little committee of entrepreneurs. We design this initiative. We sell it to the banks. We're going to present it to them, to the investment houses, to the private equity firms. So at a young age, these institutions can now identify us entrepreneurs as the jockeys. Once they've identified us, then we go and look for our business ideas. We're going to look for opportunities. We package it. We be smart. We're going to present it to these people, but we also know that they will have the ability and they'll have the ear to listen to us and what our ideas are. That way, we at least have a chance of acquiring some money to do what it is important to ourselves. Coming back to that, so when you have a great idea, you get someone to put money in, like I just did with Dr. Van Vieren. I don't want to be in Dr. Van Vieren's life for the rest of his life, milking his wonderful idea. It's not in my interest. But I do think it's important for me to participate in the risk and the reward as an entrepreneur, investing in an entrepreneur. So I'll take some equity in it, and I'll also give him the opportunity to purchase back his equity at a reasonable price as he goes down the road, so that he can ultimately be his own boss and own majority, or in some cases, all of his asset base. It's important that we don't take advantage of the youth to the extent where we try and skin them alive, where we take 80% of the business and all of a sudden they have 20% of a business, and then 10% and 5%, and sooner or later they're just not interested in the business anymore. So you've killed the jockey and nobody can ride the horse. The idea behind it is to just give them enough support and make sure that they have the support consistently and continuously, and give them the funding to go with it. But it has a recourse to funding where you can repurchase your shares and become your own boss and own majority of your business. So I think I'm going to stop on the questions. I want to give away still the 50,000 rands. Sorry. So there's a few more winners. We have for another Tracy Marutla. You 10,000 Rand richer right now. Well done. Congratulations. And Kutlo Mokhorosi. Kutlo Mokhorosi. Well done. That's given away the 50,000 Rand to these wonderful people, just for the purposes of clarity. That was Statu Masalesa, Amanda Duma, Yusuf Kathrada, Tracy Marutla, Kutlo Mokhorosi. And then lastly, for the last 1,000 Rands, data vouchers, Sikumbuzo Nethau, Sumaya Khan, Valencia, Mihipath, Akil Kazi. Well, I recognize that name. The guy may have worked for me maybe 20 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Deirdre Matafin. Those are the last winners. I'm happy. I hope I added value to you guys. I know it's a tough time once again. I'm so annoyed with myself that I can't do more for you guys. I did put the 30 bars up. I'm looking for more money for us. I hope, let's say, I'm going to set myself a target to at least double it by end of the year and find like-minded investors. I'm going to corner them. I'm going to make sure they put more money in, and so we can get more of these things and opportunities going. I don't know if there's any more questions that you think, guys, that I should be answering. Sorry, guys, and thank you for being so patient. This is the longest webinar I've ever seen and been involved in. It's just bloody going on forever. Yeah, let's go through a couple of them. Do you have some? Where's our auction, guys?
We have
85,000.
We have 85 grand. Who's it with?
85,000 and a free designer bathroom makeover.
And a free designer makeover. Someone give me my wife's going to go mad, but I hope they got 5 million Rand because my wife has such expensive taste. I'm worried about you out there. Don't say free bathroom that needs to be renovated because it's going to be crazy. My wife will just max you out in one move. But we have 85,000 Rand. And who's the 85,000 Rand from, guys?
Zubair Patel.
Zubair Patel. The Muslim guys are just supporting me. Come on, guys. Let's bang here. Let's have it. Let's get it out to everyone out there. I just want to... I'm going to find an opportunity to answer one or two more questions, if you don't mind. I'm so happy once again about Dr. Van Vuren. It's a real life story. It's really, really so nice. It's one of us entrepreneurs that's going somewhere now. He's got $3 million commitment from us. I'm so proud of him. You're going to ask about the Porsche. Obviously, Dr. Van Vuren can't drive the Porsche. He's got an impairment with his eyes. So we have the Porsche standing, and I'm so livid about that because I would have loved to have seen... Oh, we got 100 grand. You keep on interrupting me about money. How much? Who is it from? We got 100,000 rand. Khutsene Ramarafe. We have Khutsene Ramarafe, 100,000 rand. We've hit a big number. Thank you so much, guys. The charity is going to love you for it. And thank you for everybody that has given the opportunity of even bidding. It's so amazing. I can't believe it. You entrepreneurs are just amazing. And you have some money out there, it seems. But more importantly, I just, if there's any more questions, guys, I want to end this webinar. It's already 1.5 hours. I think it's been a long time. I want to just end on telling... We got 105K. Who is 105K?
From Ash.
Ash. No.
Ash keeps bidding.
Ash keeps bidding. Ash is a big bidder. Ash is big. Ash, you had 105 grand. Do I have 110? Can I have 120? Let's just go up one time, man. 120 grand. Let's just go. Auction me off. Sell me. My wife's not happy. Come on, 120 grand. Is my wife bidding? She's not bidding. She's a silent bidder. No. All right. Guys, in closing, I want to say thank you very much. I want you guys never to forget to look after your parents. Do that first, always. Have faith in yourselves. Have faith in what you're doing. Know that I'm there in the background. I'll be listening. I try and answer to everybody's social media. It's difficult because I'm running a business and I have so many kids, as you well know. Ash Singh. Ash Singh's the guy, 105,000 Rand. I'll be closing this bid off. I'm giving it 1 more minute to close your bids off. We got 110. Who's the 110 from? We're going slowly.
Which one?
Khatsole.
Khatsole?
Ramarafe.
Ramarafe, 110,000 Rand. Khatsole is in the lead right now. I'm giving it another 30 seconds. We're going to close this thing out and we're going to go for lunch.
Okay, we got 150 anonymous.
No, can't be anonymous.
You can't have 150 grand anonymous. Stop it. We need a name. Anonymous needs to pay.
Anonymous.
Guys, I was just on closing. I want to remind you something very important, that you'll be seeing some of the videos go out tomorrow. Please look at them very carefully. Also, bear in mind that I like the TikTok platform. I use it a hell of a lot. It's quick, it's easy. I send you small messages. Please, I want you to be more interactive with it. I will respond to all the messages, I promise. How much is the last offer?
We've got a 120,000 rand printer.
Okay, we still
To the charity.
to the charity. How much?
120,000 rand printer.
Printer, and then
Wow,
To the charity.
just donated to the charity. Amazing. Who donated the 120 grand printer?
it is Jacina Madida.
Jazina Madida, thank you so much. God bless you. I can't read that. It's right in the... I can't read it. Guys. So I was talking about TikTok. I like it because it's on my phone. I'll respond whenever I can. And to everybody, let's get better interaction. Let's get to know each other better. I don't buy followers. I don't believe in all that nonsense. I want to create this thing solid and a good platform. On your Twitter, please make sure that we can interact more. I have an assistant helping me with some of the stuff, so it'll be fantastic. If you need some quick advice or you need really something urgently, you can speak to us on Twitter, or you can just email or get onto my website. We can see if we can make something happen. We've got to build a network as entrepreneurs. I'm trying to do that with you. You can see it. I want to build a platform for us, for entrepreneurs only, so that we have our own platform and we can communicate all the time with one another, and that's my dream. I want to try and do that by end of the year. Don't forget about the fact that we want to meet and have at least 1,000 delegates in Lanseria at Execucheck's hangar. They're going to die when they find this out. I didn't even ask them about it. Network equals your net worth. I was told to say that. Network equals your net worth. Sounded cool. Anyway, I want to wish you guys very well. Okay, who are we closing out with? Who's the bidder?
Zubair Patel,
Zubair Patel,
170,000 rand.
170,000 rand. And I'm closing this. Sorry?
And 2 bathrooms.
And 2 bathrooms. Zubair Patel. Geez, that bathroom is hope 5 million rand, but the 170,000 to charity is sold to the highest bidder, and it is Zubair Patel. And I hope we're going to be able to maybe have a little bit of discussion in the next webinar with him to thank him and let him know where his donation went. Thank you very much. I'm signing out.
And 2-hour lunch.
And 2-hour lunch. We'll get a hold of you. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum. Have a good evening. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. Love you all. Look after the folks. Don't forget. Cheers.
Zubair said he had a misunderstanding.
He said nothing. Oh, what's...
Are we out? Are we offline?
Okay, go back.
Okay, hey guys, we're going back. Where's our last bit? Zubair had a misunderstanding.
What's Yana Romarefe, 180,000.
Boitsiana Ramorefe is the winner. Sorry, I am saying this the right way. We're closing this thing out. Boitsiana Ramarafe. Boitsiana Ramarafe, thank you very much. I look forward to having lunch with you. Thank you for the donation. May God bless you. Thank you very much. I can't see what you've written there. It's 180,000 rand. Guys, that is so amazing. Thank you very much, everybody who root out for this young person. It's amazing. I really didn't expect that. God bless you and have a good night. Now we're signing out. Bye.